anybody who says the Niners have no chance in the Super Bowl is out of their skulls. So I just wanted to say that out loud.
They're favored in the game.
Now that
you know what I mean?
That surprises me. The Chiefs have played better over the last 2 playoff games than the Niners. Hands down.
Interesting take. Hands down.
Down.
The Chiefs didn't score in the second half.
The Chiefs
on Sunday.
The Chiefs beat the 2 seed in their house and the 1 seed in their house.
But did they play better than the 49ers?
While the 1 seed struggled against the 7 seed in their house with some shaky quarterback play, with the exception of one throw that was a dime to Kittle, and then a fourth quarter drive. And a total washout in the first half of their home game of the NFC Championship game that required a comeback truly for the ages, since it was a 17-point comeback we'd only seen one time before in the history of the NFC Championship game. The Chiefs have gotten better quarterback play. The Chiefs have gotten better defensive play. Honestly. Now, the Niners did win their games that they needed to win in order to make the Super Bowl, and got some terrific play when they needed it. But start to finish, the offense definitely for Kansas City didn't score again in the second half, and I would be concerned about that going into the Super Bowl.
The Chiefs have kind of been a first-half team in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, they've been
Niners have been a second-half team.
But the Chiefs were a first-half team for much of the year. I remember they went an entire month without scoring a point after halftime, and that's when they lost a majority of their games. The game that I called in Germany, they didn't score a point after halftime and still won it. So that was a bit cause for concern that they didn't score after halftime, but they're also a road team in an AFC Championship game, and those things are tough. I looked it up. Brady only had 2 playoff games in his career in which he didn't score a point after halftime, and he lost both of them. It was that AFC Championship game against Baltimore, and it was his last playoff game ever with New England. His last game ever with New England, that wild card loss to Vrabel and the Titans.
Yeah.
So, Mahomes is, I guess, lucky to get out of it, but his defense made enough plays, which again, I don't know if you're, I understand you're offering pushback, which is always welcome here. I don't think there's any argument here. The Chiefs have played better football the last 2 weeks than they have, than the Niners have. The Niners didn't play well in their elements at home, and the Chiefs played well in their elements at home. You could say the road team, coming from South Florida and playing in one of the most freezing cold games in the history of the NFL, was an issue in favor of New England. Of Kansas City. Would you want to break this tie here?
I'm listening to both of you, and at first I was inclined to agree with Chris right off the bat, but then thinking about what you said, it's like I think the Niners, of course, are putting up more points, right? And they're doing it at a time when their backs are really against the wall, so maybe that's why Chris is looking at they
trailed in both of those games. I mean,
they're playing better. But yeah, you got to score.
The Chiefs' offense
isn't
lighting the world on fire.
The Chiefs didn't trail once on the road at the 1-seed Ravens, who eviscerated San Francisco on Christmas night. If you want to even just use what do you call that? A transitive postulate? I can't believe I'm dropping math terms here, but where one team beats one and then the other team beats another, and
transitive property.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
See, I got half of it right.
Yeah.
So,
if I beat you, but TJ beats me, it'd be assumed that TJ would beat you.
Correct.
Right.
So, but the Niners can absolutely win the Super Bowl 1,000,000%.
You're a favorite in the game. That's what I mean.
But that's why I'm surprised by that.
Yeah.
Though. Why? Because they're the 1 seed going against a 3 seed? I mean, seeds mean jack right now. It means nothing.
Better offense. They're just running more efficiently.
Really?
On offense?
Who, the Niners?
Yeah.
Dude, you're the one who says Brock Purdy might lose his gig to Kirk Cousins in the latest episode of Overreaction Monday if he doesn't perform well in the Super Bowl.
See, Rich, the thing about that podcast is he's just overreacting.
Thank you, TJ.
But there are times where you believe exactly what you're saying out there.
Right, and other times I don't. That's the,
Which time is this?
It's the beauty
Which
of
time is
television.
this?
Nah, I forget.
Like he'll never tell, like Brittany Murphy said. I'll never tell.
I also said Brock Purdy was an MVP finalist.
I know that because that's a fact.
You know
because
what I mean?
he did play for, 17, 18 weeks.
You don't think the Niners' offense is better than the Chiefs?
I think the Niners' offense is better than. First of all, don't make me compare two of my favorite tight ends in the history of tight ends.
I'm not asking you to compare anything. I'm saying
you've got one of the greatest. You have the greatest 28-year-old quarterback in the history of the NFL.
Who hasn't been as good this year as in recent years.
I'm talking, but it doesn't matter
What do you
the
mean?
whole year. It
Why
matters
doesn't it matter?
now because
Why doesn't it matter?
Because the previous weeks don't mean anything when toe meets ball in Vegas in a couple Sundays.
I hate to be the one to defend Brock Purdy, but statistically he's been better than Mahomes this year.
I'm talking about chips down. One guy has been to 3 Super Bowls already. The other guy hasn't been to one.
I get it. I'm not saying that I'm picking the
Marshall
49ers or anything, but
once upon a
you
time
don't think the
told me
Niners' offense is better?
the way that they're playing right now, the Chiefs are putting up enough points to win, and they had a better. Their offense was. Absolutely. They're running the ball very well. And Mahomes is finding Kelsey and Rashee Rice.
Do we need to go through the second half game log? There were a lot of 3 outs.
I'm just saying that I don't understand how the Chiefs are underdogs here. And yes, the Niners offense.
It's a point now, so it's basically a pick-em.
But when it all comes down to it, man, Marshall Faulk once upon a time said he ran out for a Super Bowl introduction and nearly passed out because his usual run out, he just was so hyped, he hyperventilated and nearly collapsed. I'll take the guy who's been there 3 times, right? That's all I'm saying. I can't believe that the first blush is just like he's an underdog.
But that wasn't my
Super Bowl
question. It
dog.
was, you really think the Chiefs' offense is better than the 49ers?
They've got 2 of the all-time greats performing with each other.
Again,
how can you go against that?
That's not related to what we're talking about right now.
At this moment, as of 10:30
I don't know how
on January the
I don't know how you
30th,
can possibly say the
whose
Niners'
offense is
offense
better?
isn't much better than the Chiefs.
Well, because Mahomes is Mahomes.
Yeah, he counts for 2. I'll give you that.
But do numbers mean nothing?
Numbers mean nothing when it's time to actually kick off in a winner-take-all game. It means nothing. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.